Okay, so I want to start off by addressing a couple of the points that my opponent made. First, my opponent speaks largely on about how fundraising works, and she gives us examples of about how the candidates benefit, and she explains to us exactly what are the methods if you want to fundraise, which are all very good details and which are all very good helpful points. However, she doesn't specify which I believe, and I believe most of you would believe, that the most important part of the entire process is the voter. She goes on to specify exactly how the fundraising works and exactly how campaign managers and how the entire campaign fundraises the money. However, she doesn't specify how the voter benefits. So, for example, when a part that she didn't speak on was about how campaign contributors will often influence the race, depending again on which contributor you are. If you're a large corporation, you might have a large influence on the policies made later on or the legislation pushed rather on if they happen to win. So according to David D. Kirkpatrick, campaign contributors influence the race and the election cycle in a negative way in terms of coverage and money allotted. So he goes on to state, he further goes on to state, it refers to an alternative form of financing the campaigns which emerged in the last years. It derives from a major loophole in federal campaign financing and spending laws that exempts from regulation those contributions made for party building in general rather than more specific candidates. So right here he's talking about soft money, which is a form which a large corporation or a individual who wants to donate a large portion can give money through a significant loophole. But then again, the only people who are truly benefiting from this is the campaign or so the candidate and not the voter, which is the most important part here. Also, just to finish off on this point, campaign donors and supporters do influence the policies that the candidates later decide on. According to Bron Nadja from a political campaign movement in Berlin, when political parties and candidates do not depend on their supporters or members, neither for monetary contributions, membership donations, nor for voluntary labor, they might they be less likely to involve them in party decisions or consult their opinions on policy issues. So now that I've specified on her major point that she went on to go on about, I want to address another point she made, which is the whole Franklin Delano Roosevelt quote, which is, "Democracy cannot succeed unless those who express their choice are prepared to choose wisely." But I challenge that by asking and by saying, how can an individual express and choose wisely when the long presidential cycle makes the candidates lose track of what's important and what's important for the country? And that is policy. And what the future not only of the nation will be, but what the future of the world beholds. The long presidential election makes the entire cycle feel like a reality show, and as a political analyst and psychoanalyst from the New York Times says, anger and feelings murk objective reasoning.